everyone. Welcome to the Wills, Women, and Wealth podcast. I'm Elsa W. Smith, your Maryland estate planning and probate attorney, and I'm thrilled to have you with us today. We're here to empower women who value their health, wealth, and the legacies they're creating. This podcast delves into a diverse range of subjects encompassing finance, law, mental and physical health, and beyond. Our commitment is to furnish you with invaluable insights, engaging expert interviews, and enlightening episodes that address your questions on wills, estate planning, and probate matters. Remember, this is your community, and we want to hear from you. Engage with us, ask questions, suggest topics. Let's build a dialogue. Reach out to us on social media or leave us a comment below. Your input fuels the conversations we have. You can find all of our episodes on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for our upcoming content. We appreciate your support. And if you enjoy the podcast, please consider leaving us a 5-star review. Your review helps amplify our reach and brings our content to more listeners. And now on with the podcast. Today's topic is what my clients have taught me about final disposition instructions and why yours matter too. When most people think about estate planning, they're thinking about wills, trusts, and powers of attorney. And while all of that is important, there's one part that often gets overlooked. That's the final disposition instructions. What happens to your body, your ceremony, your farewell? Over the years, I've had the privilege of helping clients navigate these deeply personal decisions. And let me tell you, no two wishes are ever the same. In today's episode, I'm sharing some of the most memorable and meaningful final disposition instructions I've helped clients put into place, and why getting these details in writing is one of the greatest gifts you can leave behind. Final disposition instructions might sound clinical, but at their core, they're deeply human. It's where culture, faith, identity, and legacy all come together. And for many of my clients, this part of the planning is where their personalities and values shine the brightest. So let's start with one of the most powerful lessons I've learned: the importance of honoring rituals and traditions, especially the ones that may not always come up unless someone knows the right questions to ask. Over the years, I've learned that final disposition instructions aren't just about burial or cremation. They're also about ritual. The ways we mark a person's passing, honor their life, and help their loved ones begin to process the loss. One client, a member of a historic international sorority, founded at one of our country's oldest historically Black colleges, shared how deeply meaningful it was to her that a special ceremony be performed at her memorial. This ritual, known among members of the sisterhood, reflects the values of scholarship, service, and lifelong connection. It wasn't something she initially mentioned during our planning, but as I asked questions, probing gently to make the process more personal, she lit up. Yes, she said, that needs to be part of my service. And we made sure it was included in her instructions. Another client, a devout member of the Orthodox Jewish community, emphasized how important it was for his final arrangements to follow specific religious guidelines, including how his body would be handled, the presence of certain prayers and Torah readings, and the timing of burial. These traditions are sacred, and having them written down provided real comfort. not just for him, but for his family, who now have clarity about how to honor his beliefs without hesitation or confusion. Ritual can take many forms, but what I've learned is this: when people take the time to name what matters to them, they create space for peace, dignity, and connection, not only for themselves, but for the people they love. Rituals are just one piece of the puzzle. Another area where I've seen an incredible range of preference is in the choice between burial and cremation, and what happens before or after. More and more, I've noticed a trend toward cremation. But even within that trend, the variety of approaches is honestly inspiring. One client, for example, wanted a traditional burial in line with her faith, but she also had a clear vision for how she wanted to be celebrated. And I do mean celebrated. She chose specific hymns that are staples at many Black church funerals. Think His Eye is on the Sparrow, Going Up Yonder, and Precious Lord, Take My Hand. She requested certain scriptures to be read aloud, even chose purple as her theme color. She wanted it in the flowers, in the programs, even the attire if possible. For her, this was as much about faith as it was about joy and legacy. Another client, completely different. He opted for cremation and asked for his ashes to be scattered on a golf course overseas, the very spot where he got his first hole in one. Talk about personal. What struck me was that while he had that one clear wish, he wanted the rest left up to the loved one he had named in charge. He thought, well, let him decide the rest. I trust them. Then there are the clients who are guided more by practicality than ritual. They want to keep things simple and affordable for their families. Some opt for quiet cremations with no ceremony at all. And I will never forget the woman who chose to flip the script entirely. She opted for cremation, simple, no frills, but that's not where she put her energy or her resources. Instead, she front loaded the experience. She planned a fully catered celebration while she was still alive, inviting her entire family, including 45 grandchildren and great grandchildren, for a day filled with food, music, and memories. Her reasoning? Well, if I'm going to spend this money on food and fellowship, I want to be there to enjoy it. She didn't see the point in spending thousands on a service she wouldn't be around to witness. So she kept her final disposition minimal and instead gave her family and herself the gift of shared time while she was still here. It was legacy in action and a powerful reminder that there's no one right way to say goodbye. One of the things we talk about early on, usually during the consultation or soon after, is whether a client has thought about their final disposition wishes: burial, cremation, memorial preferences, or even whether they want a ceremony at all. Sometimes the answer is, oh, my daughter knows what I want, or I haven't really written anything down yet. While it's understandable to think a casual conversation with loved ones is enough, I've seen firsthand how much smoother things go when those wishes are clearly documented in writing. Take, for example, a client I worked with who had a very clear idea of what she wanted: cremation, followed by a 5-hour celebration with a DJ and open bar and dancing. She said, I want people to laugh, dance, and tell stories. Make it fun. I lived a full life, and I want that to be the mood. Because she worked with us to document those wishes in a formal, legally sound way, there was no guesswork for her family. They didn't have to wonder whether they were doing the right thing or if her wishes were truly honored. Everything was clearly laid out, from the tone of the celebration to the logistics, even down to who should be in charge of carrying it out. Her family had her voice in writing, with the full weight of her estate plan behind it. That's the benefit of working with a professional. We don't just hand you a form and say, fill this out. We guide you through the process. We listen to your wishes, whether it's the music you want, the rituals you want performed, or the specific people you want involved. And we help you create a plan that reflects you. And that clarity helps your loved ones too. There's no uncertainty, no second guessing. Your wishes are written down with a designated person in charge, ensuring everything goes smoothly when the time comes. Having those instructions in place can also prevent conflicts. I've seen families torn apart over the smallest misunderstandings because the decedent's wishes weren't documented properly. When you leave clear instructions, you give your family the gift of peace of mind so they can focus on honoring your memory rather than figuring out what you would have wanted. Your final disposition instructions don't just include burial or cremation details. They can encompass everything: the type of service, the music, the colors, the atmosphere, and who you want to lead the ceremony. These instructions are your voice, even after you're gone. It's one of the most loving things you can do for your family, giving them a clear, thoughtful roadmap to follow when they need it most. Final disposition instructions are about more than just logistics. They're about love, clarity, and making sure your story ends the way you want it to. Over the years, my clients have taught me that no two final wishes are the same. Some want music and movement, others want prayer and quiet. Some want traditions passed down, and some want a break from tradition entirely. But here's the common thread: when those wishes are thoughtfully discussed and properly documented, it brings peace. It lifts a burden from loved ones, and it allows people to grieve, honor, and celebrate without the weight of uncertainty. So if you're a Maryland or DC resident and you've been putting off this part of your planning, or you're just not sure where to start, I'd love to invite you to schedule a complimentary 15-minute call with a member of our team. No pressure, no overwhelm, just a chance to ask questions, get oriented, and take the first step toward creating a plan that truly reflects who you are. You can find the link to schedule in the show notes. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Wills, Women, and Wealth podcast, and for thinking about something so deeply personal. It matters more than most people realize, and I hope today's stories gave you a few ideas to think about for yourself or for someone you love. Remember, stay informed, stay empowered, and take control of your legacy.